Cackling Moon. We're going to be talking about used decks, and it's one of my favorite ways to buy a deck is going used for many reasons. I'm gonna light my candles. We have some lovely lavender scent going on in this room. It's heavy. So used decks is one of my favorite ways to acquire a tarot deck or an oracle deck, or mostly tarot. Most of the decks on this table are tarot, if not all of them. But used decks are, it's like you're adopting, you're taking care, you're taking in a deck that maybe hasn't been given much love from its previous owner, or the previous owner just doesn't connect, which that's a thing that's happened to me too. And so when you're able to kind of take in a deck that wasn't receiving a lot of love and work and not being used as often, it's kind of a nice feeling to add it to your collection. And so, oh, excuse me. and so that is like one of the main reasons why I like to take in used decks, because it's like, I feel like I'm saving it. I feel like I'm giving it a second chance. And then also it's a really cool way to acquire a deck that is out of print, or just something that is not easily accessible. And so if you go the route of it being used, it's just so, you have a chance of getting a better price at some of them, you guys. Like, it's a really nice thing. So I have quite a bit to show you. I'm going to go ahead and just start. I have them grouped in the way that I obtain them. So I'm going to start off first with the ones that were gifted to me. Oh my gosh, I just realized I forgot one. Hang on. So, I have a lot of decks in my collection, so I am probably throughout this video going to remember one or two that I forgot to pull. Please forgive me if if I forget to mention a deck that you gave me. It just happens. I have so many. But this one in particular, I was like, can't believe I forgot this one. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first one. The first one that I obtained as a gift. So this was gifted to me from a member in our tarot community. And she was going by Leela Hell, now she goes by Psychic Gloom. And so she gave me for my birthday, this was like a few years ago, she gifted me her second copy. It was like I think this was her workhorse copy, she would call. It was like the deck that she would use in all of her readings and stuff, because she does readings online. And she gave me her second edition of the Victorian Romantic Tarot. This was a few years back. I want to say I think this was like 2015. And I was really wanting this deck for quite a while. The Victorian Romantic Tarot was on my wish list forever. And when she told me she was going to give me her copy, I was so over the moon about it. It's a really well-loved used copy of the deck. It's just well worn, and I always would tell her whenever I would work with it, I could feel her energies through it. Because she would work with this all the time. So the Victorian Romantic Tarot was one that was gifted to me for my birthday a few years back. She also was selling decks that she wanted to kind of take out of her collection. And out of the other ones that I have bought, I think I bought two of these of the Witch's Tarot. I have the book here. It didn't come with the box. And I think the other copy that I had the box, but I ended up rehoming that one, and I saved the other one. So the Witch's Tarot, I never use this deck, but I keep it because I really like the artwork, and there's no borders, and I just think that it's one of those like vintage finds that like eventually if I were to, you know, get rid of this one, I feel like I would regret it. So I've always liked the moon card in this one too. But yeah, so it is a vintage deck. I don't know what edition this one is, but based on the book, this one looks like it's from the 90s, the 7th printing, 1997. So a 90s deck, right? But I've been seeing the Witch's Tarot popping up on eBay when I'm like doing my hunts for other decks, and this one's been popping up quite a bit and it's starting to get pricey. So that's why I'm like, I won't ever get rid of this deck. I really like the card backs and I just like how used it is. It's well worn. So it's just one of those decks that stays in my collection, that will stay in my collection. And yeah, so it comes with the guidebook. I don't know what happened to the box. I don't think this, I remember when I bought them from Lila Hell, I want to say one of them came with the box and that's the one I rehomed. But okay, I need to like start a new pile. Okay. The other ones that were gifted to me or that I bought off of other readers, this one in particular was gifted to me. As you guys know, I did a video about it. This is a non-copyright Rider-Waite deck. This is the Sunburnt Magician, the one with the Sunburnt Magician on the box. So a brand also from our tarot community gifted me a non-copyright version of the Rider-Waite. So it just means there's no copyright on the sides of the cards, and it's just a vintage, the vintage love of my life. I highly, highly, highly appreciate Rider-Waite, and it's probably my favorite deck ever. And I didn't know that he was going to send me this copy. So this was literally a surprise in the mail. And it's my baby. And then the other one that I knew that he was going to be sending over is the, this one's, the box is the tarot, but it's the, and I know I always mispronounce it, but the hoi polloi. And so this one was also a gift, because I've also been wanting this one. I mean, when you love Rider-Waite, you just want to have all of the editions that you can find, right? And so this one is really cool looking. It has a very, obviously a 70s look to it. Very vintage and just a very well-loved deck. The cards don't look like they've been shuffled that much, but they definitely have a used feel to it. Like the cards are very much, they're aged. The deck itself is yellowed, and it's just it's such a treasure. Like I have such a high love for used decks. I think they're just, it's like you're holding the energy of the years beyond, like the years in the past, in your hands. And I don't know, there's just something about them, like, oh, I love used decks. Used decks like the cards when they're worn out and all of the above. I just really, really appreciate a tarot deck like that. So that was one that was gifted to me. I keep it in the deck bag because it's like easy for me to reach for it. The box is a little bit, the box is rather huge. And so I just keep it tucked away in the bottom of the drawer that I have. And so it's just easier for me to get, it's easier access when I just have the cards in a book bag or in a little baggie. So those are the decks that were gifted to me. The last one that I can remember, I'm sure I have other ones. I have a lot of decks and deck bags, but I just don't have the patience to go through them right now. But the last one is the Golden Rider. So this one was, this one actually belonged to Elise of Wild Moon Woman before she, so when she was going through her transition of walking away from the tarot and stepping into her new, spiritual path of Christianity, she was starting to sell all of her decks in her collection. And I remember she was putting them up on Instagram, and I was able to catch the story. And There was one story where she had the Golden Rider, and then she also had the first edition of the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I was so close, you guys, to buying both of them. But when I messaged her about Oracle of the Radiant Sun, she had mentioned that someone else had just, right before me, messaged about it. So she was going in order by the way she was receiving the messages, the DMs. And so I said, okay, then I will take the Golden Rider. And so I bought this copy off of her for $35. Really, really cheap. She was selling a lot of her like out of print decks at really reasonable prices. And you can't find a Golden Rider on eBay for less than $100. I mean, they're up there in price because they are very much, people love them. People want them. So this one is the French edition. And it's really, really nice. It's beautiful, vintage. There's the card backs. And it just has like a really different look to the pictures. Very like lots of golds and browns. This is definitely a Rider-Waite deck that I like to pull out for the summertime. So one thing I really like about this deck is the faces are different. They just have a different look to them. There's the Hermit. It does not bother me that the cards are in French. I was just excited to even have a copy, you know, because like I said, these are really hard to find at reasonable prices. So it's really rare when you find the English version popping up. Usually I always see them in different languages. Very well worn deck. You could tell the edges are, the edges have been used. You could just see it. I love it when you see a used deck and it just, you know that the persons or the multiple people who had this deck prior, that put all that love into it. So, I believe, let's see if it shows the copyright. It doesn't. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't know. I'll have to look that up to see, but yeah, it has the little white book. It has a little white book with it. It has the title cards, and then it has the actual tarot. So beautiful deck, and it's kind of bittersweet because I will always look at this deck as Elise's deck, and so it's just kind of bittersweet in that way. Okay, so let's talk about the ones that I obtained through Amazon. So Amazon, usually I don't go to Amazon very often for used decks, only because the chances of finding one that is like not what they say, I just feel it's higher because you don't get a lot of pictures as you do with like eBay and stuff. So on Amazon, as you guys know, and here I hold my Albano Waite. Remember I did a video recently about the Albano Waite where mine is not the original 70s copy, but this is the deck that I bought on Amazon. I bought it used, and it's still a pretty good deck, but it was definitely a used copy. It's my Frankenstein deck because it has cards from different editions of the Albano Waite. But yeah, so when you buy used, that's one of the risks that you take, that it's not going to be a complete deck and all of that. So I'll talk a little bit about that in detail when I get to that point. This is the very first deck that I ever had in my collection, which is the original Rider-Waite. I bought this one used off of Amazon. It's kind of funny how the very first tarot deck I ever owned was a used deck. It didn't come with the box. It just came with the cards, and I just remember opening it and it was just magical because this was the specific deck that Kellyanne Maddox would always use in her videos and stuff. And when I was like just a baby in the tarot world back in 2012, I wanted the deck that she was always working with, and I knew that it was the original Rider-Waite. So this is my baby. It's my well-used copy, and it was a $10 used tarot deck via Amazon, and it was the very first one I ever owned. So I just keep it in a little deck bag. A recent purchase that I did is the Cosmic Tarot. So I bought the Cosmic Tarot used. You could still buy this deck brand new, but I chose to buy it used. It was actually a very, very new used copy, I guess, if that's like how you want to explain it. The cards look like they were barely shuffled. So that's kind of like one of the cool things about buying used is that sometimes you get one that is the person hardly ever touched it because they just didn't connect with it. So you're pretty much getting a brand new copy. It's just not shrink wrapped and all of that, you know. But I wanted to go for a used version of the Aquarian, the Aquarian of the Cosmic Tarot, because, oh, that's it. The Aquarian Tarot. That's another one I forgot to pull out. But yeah, used copies. Love it. I want to say like, I wouldn't say half of my deck collection is in used copy, but I've had quite a few. But I have also rehomed a lot of decks throughout my years. The Flower Oracle. So this is the Victorian Flower Oracle. I bought this one used off of, I have a lot of fluff flying around. I bought this one used off of Amazon. This is the deck that was labeled as a haunted deck. I have a whole video out about this one. I was on the hunt for the Victorian Flower for a good couple months before I finally found a copy. I think I spent $120 plus shipping with this deck. But it was well worth it. And I love it. I call it my like sassy deck because it could be quite sassy with the messages that come through. But it's definitely one of my faves, and it was a special purchase. So when I was hunting for Victorian Flower, I was hunting both eBay and Amazon. And this one popped up on Amazon, and the whole like listing of it being a haunted deck just sold me. I was like, that's mine. That's supposed to be for me. Okay. Now we're going to talk about, let's talk about the deck trade purchases. So deck trades, if you're looking for a used deck, you can find a lot of them through the Facebook groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups that are specific to deck trades. So I think I'm a member of like 4 or 5 of them. And every once in a while when I'm like really fishing for a certain deck, I'll go through each of the groups to see if anyone put a listing up. So everything that you're going to see here is something that I bought from a deck trade, or either you trade a deck for something else or you just buy it. So I don't think I traded any of mine. I think I just bought them. My most tried and true favorite is the first edition Oracle of the Radiant Sun. You guys will, I'm sure there's a video. I think I have a video of showing the deck. There's a whole story about this one because the very first copy that I bought that I thought was legit was actually fake. It was someone scanned pictures of the deck and then they cut them up in like really cheap paper and shipped it to me. And it was really sad because I thought I was going to get the real thing. So I kind of lost $90 because I thought I was getting a steal, and yeah, it was not the real thing. So when I was finally able to obtain the actual copy of the first edition, it came with the book, and I have the book over here. It did not come with the box, but it came with the book, and it was, I think I paid $120 for this, which was still a steal because you consider at the time before the reprint came out, these decks on eBay were popping up at like literally $200, $300, $400, and then there was like one that was listed at $800. So you just could not find this for cheap. And when I found that the lady on one of the Facebook groups, she's another reader, she had the deck, and so she also gave me a discount on it because she knew who I was. So she was like, oh, I watch your videos and stuff. So yeah, so really awesome find. That was probably the most exciting purchase I made. I think this was I think this was last year actually when I got this one. So Okay, the Botticelli. This is the golden Botticelli. So this was just like one of those random finds that someone on the Facebook group was selling, and it was really, really affordable. And I really wanted it because I had seen one of my friends had it, and I just thought it was just a gorgeous deck with those gold foil accents to the cards. And so I really love reading with this one. I've been reading with it recently this spring season. And it's just a really graceful, soft deck. And yeah, so this was a purchase from the Facebook group. Someone was selling it very cheap, which is like, this is like I said, this was one of those reasons why I love buying used decks. Like you could still buy this one brand new, shrink wrapped and everything, but if you want to save some money, or if you want to save a deck, go used, right? So that's my Botticelli, my golden Botticelli. This is the Connected and Free. So this one actually belongs to another tarot reader that I love and adore. And she had posted this. I want to say I saw the posting on her Twitter or Facebook, I don't remember, but she had posted that she was selling her copy, and I just by chance, like I happened to be on and I saw the post come up. So it was like one of those things, because I knew this was one of those decks where like I was always on the hunt for it, but I just wasn't I wasn't actively looking for it. And so when her post came up, I was like, oh, this is it. This is mine. This is mine. So I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it wasn't expensive at all. And she sent it my way. So it was just really fun. This is probably the only oracle. This is probably the only oracle in the whole video. Yeah, so beautiful deck. It's just a very springy / summery kind of a vibe to me. A really pretty deck, and I just really enjoy it. And so this is the Connected and Free oracle, and this is the first edition, I believe. I might be wrong. By Inner Hue. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say, and there's no guidebook. Actually, yes, there is a guidebook, but I have it put away somewhere. But yeah, so I think this is the first edition, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, because I know there's another one out. The backs look like this. Really pretty, and they're edged in black, so it's kind of cool. First edition, Wild Unknown. So this actually came through a trade via my Facebook group. So I have a Facebook group called Talk Tarot with Me, and I think this was last summer. We did a yard sale kind of a thing in the group, where everybody and all of the members gathered up decks and books and crystals and things that they just wanted to sell or rehome. And one of the members was selling her first edition copy of the Wild Unknown. I have the second edition, and I just bought it because I wanted the first edition. I think the card backs, whoops, I have a kyanite in my deck. One of the reasons is because the card backs are so different in the first edition. And then some of the images are different too from the second edition. So it's just a beautiful deck. I don't work with Wild Unknown nearly as much as I thought I would have, but it's one of those decks where I want it in my collection because it's so beautiful, and it's just, I don't know, I just have like sentimental feelings about it. Oh, the cards are in order. Nice. So yeah, I can always tell a deck that I don't work with often because when I open it up, it's in order. So yeah. I don't know if I could find one of the cards that is not in the second edition. I don't know, but just even the way that the cards feel, like the material and whatnot is different. The box is different from the second edition. So, and this is when the cards were being sold straight from the creator. And then I have my second edition was also straight from the creator. It was not the the mass market edition that you can find like at Barnes and Noble and stuff. So that's like another kind of like a sweet thing about buying used decks, is that sometimes you can get the indie version of the deck versus the mass market. So yeah, it's special. Like the quality of an indie deck versus the quality of something that goes mass market is like night and day for most part. So that's just a fun little tidbit. This is the Pagan Underworld. Oh, no, I always say Pagan Underworld, but it's the Pagan Other Worlds Tarot. And this was a used purchase that was from the tarot Facebook group, the tarot trade groups. And this deck is absolutely gorgeous. I wasn't looking for this one at the time that I bought it. It just happened to be a new post that came up when I just happened to be looking through the group. And I believe that I believe that the reader sold this one. I think I bought it for $60, $60, I think. So I don't know. I'm not too savvy with how much the Pagan Otherworlds goes for right now. I don't know how much it goes for brand new, but I don't know. I think I paid $60 and that included shipping. And it's just a gorgeous deck. It's so pretty. It's just one of those, like, it has a vintage feel to it, even though, you know, it's not as old as some of these other ones are. I really love the card backs, and just the card stock has this like linen feel to it. It's just so pretty. So it's a very simple, one of those simple decks, and I always get really amazing readings from it when I pull it out for clients. So it's kind of fun when like there's a deck that you find and you're not even looking for it in the first place, but it just somehow becomes part of your collection. Like, to me, those are those meant to be moments. Okay, so the other one is the Vampire Tarot. So this one I recently got last year, and this was one that I obsessed over. I had to find it. I was obsessed over it. I was ready to throw down $100 and something for it. I think I ended up paying $100 for this deck. I don't remember though. Like, I don't remember, but it's just a beauty. It has the guidebook. I know you guys are probably gonna scream at me because I did a deck mod to it. I'm one of those people, like, I would never do a deck mod to certain decks, but this one, like, I just couldn't deal with the borders. So if you've ever seen the Vampire Tarot, the freaking borders of these cards, it doesn't even show. It's kind of funny because they don't even show it on this picture. Like, you see the picture of the Vampire Tarot, it doesn't even show the ugly borders. But basically the cards had, well, let's see if the picture shows it. Oh, no, of course not. Basically, the cards were like double the size. They were freaking huge. And they had big borders. And so I cut these little suckers up. They had like those big white borders. And now it's like a deck that is like, I would say this is more friendly, small hand friendly, if you could say. And yeah, so I cut the borders and I rounded the edges. Very amateur deck mod me, but I love the way the cards look now. You could just focus only on the image and you don't see any big white borders and all of that. So those of you guys who are like, there's some tarot collectors out there that would probably cringe at the idea of somebody cutting up their out of print deck, but I just couldn't handle, you guys. Like, here's the thing about me. When I have out of print decks, I actually work with them. So some people collect cards just to keep them in their collection. I don't. I actually use mine in readings. I love this one. I actually use my out of print decks in readings. So I was just like, if I'm going to work with this Vampire Tarot, like, I had to get rid of the borders, and look at how much better it looks. Just, these are the backs. So yeah, so that's my Vampire Tarot. You could tell by the size for the cards how big they were. Look at that. Look at that. I am not even kidding you. The borders were huge in this deck. So yeah, this was a Facebook group trade, and I think I paid like, $100, and it included shipping, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I bought so many. I bought a lot of decks. Okay. This was also a Facebook group purchase. Funny story about this one. So I was on the hunt for the Fantastic Menagerie Tarot, which is so excited. It's actually being reprinted this year. So I already put in my pre-order for it. It's a Baba Studios deck. But anyways, I was on the hunt for the Fantastic Menagerie Tarot, and there was a listing for it. I ended up putting a question on a comment in the listing asking how much and if it was still available. Before the person got back to me, someone else saw my comment and they snatched the deck. Like literally this girl bought it when I was the first person to inquire on it. The guy that was selling the Fantastic Menagerie apologized to me in DM, and he said that he had other out of print decks and if I was interested in any of them. I was really upset. I was kind of pissed because it was like, that's a low ball move to go in and like take something when you weren't the first person to inquire on it. But it was also like shame on that reader too for doing that. So I just have a little bit of like a frustration with that. But anyways, so after they showed me what was in their collection and whatnot, I ended up buying the Elemental Tarot from them. This is by the same creators as the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And you could tell by the artwork. So this is the guidebook that comes with it. It's really, really cool. And the deck itself comes in a cool little box. But as you could see with the artwork, it's the same people who do Oracle of a Radiant Sun. And so I ended up buying this one from them, and they gave it to me at like a really cheap price. I think I only paid like $30 for it. And usually like these cards come up to be in the hundreds on eBay. So it worked out, but at the same time, I was still kind of bummed about the whole Fantastic Menagerie. But I figured, you know what? It just wasn't meant to be, you know? And so the only thing that was really frustrating is that girl that bought the deck, that took the deck, she ends up reselling all of the decks at fucking double the price that she pays for them. So it's just like really frustrating that I was like, I'm going to actually use the deck for work, not just reselling them for double the money. Like I can't stand that. That irritates me. So I'm just like, I was really bummed because I was like, I was going to love the deck more than this person, but okay, fine. So that is the Elemental Tarot. I pull this one out to use every once in a while. But it's just one of those special vintage finds. So yeah. Okay. It's starting to get dark in here because the sun is like in and out of the clouds today. So I apologize if you see like the light changing. Okay, now let's get into my eBay finds. I hope you guys are cozy and comfortable because this is going to be a long video. I'll try to go through it as fast as I can. So my eBay finds, one of the cool things that I found on eBay are these playing cards. So funny story, when I was looking for the Victorian Flower Oracle, I was like on the hunt for a long time, for a couple months, on both eBay and Amazon. And during my searches, I came across these playing cards, and it has the same artwork as the Victorian Flower Oracle. So I bought them because I was just like, that's so freaking cute. Like I wanted the deck so bad. It's not the Oracle, but the images are the same. So I just thought that was kind of cute. So it's just a playing card deck. And because it had the flowers, that's why I bought it. You know, I was on the hunt for it. So this was just one of those like cool finds. I didn't even know this existed, but they're just little playing cards with the flowers. So freaking love it. This is the holographic tarot. So this was a eBay purchase, not used. This one was brand new, but it's just always been my funny deck. Like it's just so different. I'm sure you guys have seen this one flying around. It's a holographic tarot, but it has like the words the meanings of the titles in like a different language. And it's just a cool deck. It's really pretty and funky. But it was cheap. I think I paid like $5 when this one first came out. And it's just fun. Like, it's just another edition of my Rider-Waite obsession that I have to add to the Rider-Waite collection. So that is the holographic tarot. Comes in a little box like this. It's a really pretty, really pretty deck. This one, my Astro Mythological. I don't ever use this deck, but I wanted it simply because it's vintage and because it just looks cool. Sometimes I just buy shit because I'm just bored. This was made in France. The cards are beautiful. Look at those card backs. It's just a fun deck. Like, it's a, I believe this is like Lenormand, but I don't know. It has a whole system to it. I don't know how this reads. I don't know how to work with it. I would love to learn. I think that would be kind of fun, but I haven't seen anyone really work with this one. I love that it has like astrology to it and it's just vintage. And so I bought it because of that. Every once in a while when I'm like hunting for vintage decks, I'll see this one pop up and it's just kind of a reminder to me of like just owning something special. That's just the way I see it, is like there's only so many copies of these guys around and they're vintage and I have a copy. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a Lenormand deck. I don't know how to read with it. So it has a guidebook too. I guess if I really want to study it, you know, I could I could learn, but I don't know. Maybe one day. It's just a fun deck. Like, it's pretty. It's pretty. Do you guys ever buy stuff just because it's pretty? Like, come on. Because it's pretty, it's used. It's just a vintage find. So that was one of my fun ones that I bought. The Diamond Tarot. You guys know this one. I put a video on it. I had to make a separate video for it. This is the Diamond Tarot. It's a 90s deck, out of print. Absolutely gorgeous. Different. You don't see this one coming out all the time. Like, people don't have it. They don't post pictures of it. It just, each card looks like you're looking down at the top of a diamond and the tarot card is right in the middle. So it's just one of those fun decks. It's Rider-Waite. So obviously, as soon as I saw this one popping up on videos, or like, I don't even remember who had it, and I was like, I need a copy. And as soon as I saw and I found out what it was called, oh my God, look at this moon. As soon as I found out what it was called, I was on eBay looking for it. And when I found a copy, I bought it. I don't remember how much I spent. I know it was less than $100. But it was, at this point, it was like, it's a Rider-Waite clone. I don't care how much it is. I'm going to pay for it. So I did pay less than $100 for this one, but I don't remember how much I paid. I want to say it was like 80. I don't know. I don't remember. But I got that one last year. All of my Baba Studio decks, with the exception of the 3rd edition Victorian Romantic Tarot and then like the reprints, I bought on eBay. So everything else was eBay finds. The Bohemian Cats Tarot, this is the 1st edition. I found this one on eBay. No. This wasn't eBay. This was a deck trade. This was on Facebook. I'm sorry. Whoops. I specifically wanted this version because of the borders. So there's another version of the Bohemian Cats. I think there's like 3 editions and there's going to be a 4th because Baba Studios is working on a new one. But I wanted the edition with the borders because I just thought it was so pretty. Like, I think the borders are gorgeous. The cards themselves, the images are beautiful, and it's cats. But I just like the way that the flowers look around it. I don't know. I think it's just so delicate. It's beautiful. So why, like, floral borders on a card, way better than a white border, in my opinion. So when I saw that the person was selling it, specifically it was the edition I wanted, I snagged this one up. I don't remember how much I paid. It was less than 200, but it was definitely more than $100. Somewhere right in the middle. So worth it. First edition copy. Come on, you guys. Oh my God, my babies. So all of my Bohemian Gothic tarots I purchased on eBay except for the 3rd edition. Funny as it is, right? So the 3rd edition, which is this one, this is my brand new edition. I bought this, I had originally bought a 3rd edition Bohemian Gothic on their website on a discount because it did not come with the box. That copy I actually gave to one of my friends, so she has it now, and it was the copy that I did a deck mod. Yeah, I did a deck mod to that one, and I blacked out the edges, but I had an oopsie, and like some of the cards had the ink like smeared on the card, so that kind of sucked, but at the same time it made it my own. But anyways, so when I saw that Bohemian Gothic, they were like down to their last boxes of the 3rd edition, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. It was like $50 or something like that, because I knew as soon as this one goes out of print, you're going to find the 3rd edition on eBay for $100+. Like that's just the way it works. And so I wanted to have a fresh copy of it because, like I said, I had ruined my other ones and I gave them to a friend. So here's my 3rd edition. And I'm not doing a deck mod to it. I'm leaving it alone, but I have a box for it. So that's my 3rd edition that I bought from the website. The ones that I bought on eBay, oh my God. So this is the 2nd edition of the Bohemian Gothic. As you could tell, it's a well-loved box of cards. The 2nd edition has these gorgeous backs, very different from the 3rd edition. It has the skeletons. They're more darker than what the 1st edition looks like, so I'll have to do a side-by-side for you. But really gorgeous. The sides they came blacked out. I don't think I did this myself. I don't remember. But that's the 2nd edition. So I found that one on eBay. It came with a bag. So I actually have 2 Bohemian Gothic Tarot bags from Baba Studios because this one came with it and so did the 1st edition. So this is the 1st edition. I had to tape the box, you guys, because it was falling apart. It is the 1st edition of Bohemian Gothic is probably the darkest in as far as the colors go on the cards, but it has the most gorgeous backs. So it's just like the 2nd edition, only obviously you could see they're brighter. How beautiful, right? So this is my baby. The 1st edition is my favorite copy. But like I said, the cards are darker. So if you put this side by side, the 3rd edition, you'll see like the 3rd edition looks like you have more light shining through than this one. But this edition is my favorite. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh my God, like I love it so much. And I love the card backs. So beautiful. This was a well-loved used copy. I got it, so I won it on a, you know how on eBay you can do the auctions? I auctioned and I was up at the early hours of the morning to make sure that I got this deck. And I think I paid one like over $100, but it was not expensive. I think it was like $100. It was like right around $100. I remember it was like, I threw in that extra $10 just to make sure I got it. But I would have to go back on my history to see how much I really paid for it. But anyway, it's a 1st edition of the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. This one came out in 2005, I believe, 2007. And so this is just, oh my God, this is like my favorite. My favorite. Like Bohemian Gothic is my deck. It's just, I had so much, I cried my eyes out the very first copy that I had, my 3rd edition. Like I cried when I opened it because it was just so touching to me. I don't know what it is about this deck. I think it just sings to like my shadow self. And then, oh my God. So this one I bought last year. This was when my husband was gone. He was like up in Sacramento for his training. And it was a lonely week, I remember. But I remember I freaking snagged the silver edition Bohemian Gothic. How did I do it? I don't know. Because this deck was always popping up on eBay for like $500, and it came with the box. It also came with no, it didn't come with the bag. That was the other edition that did. And you guys, when I found this one, I was just like, I was ready to throw down money on it. Like I was like, I have money for my readings, like I'm just gonna pay whatever I need to. I did not pay nearly as much as I thought I was going to for the silver edition. Like I got a really good deal. I can't tell you guys how much it was, but it was less than $200. When you think about that compared to like these guys come up for like $400 or $500 on eBay. I don't know what the hell happened. When the universe wants you to have a deck, it's gonna make it happen, and you're gonna find it at a fraction of the price. Like I guarantee you. So I like lost my shit when I was like, holy shit, I bought it and it's mine. And it's just the most gorgeous deck, and it's silver edition. So there's silver highlights to it, which the camera does not do this deck justice. You have to see this in person. So come over and I'll show you. But this is like, oh my God, like I was just in love when I got this. And I remember I was laying in bed. My husband wasn't home. I was lonely. I had this deck in my hands. I laid in bed and I just went card by card slowly with music on. It was just the most romantic thing ever. And oh my God. So the silver edition is mine. And it actually it's labeled. I think it's the title card has, whoops. The title card has it. I thought it had it. Maybe not. I don't know. The title card is somewhere. It's probably mixed in here. But it's labeled number something. Like there was only this, like with the silver editions, there was only so many that were made in the whole world. So you would get, they would tell you, like they would write it down on the box what number you had. And I don't know. The lighting is so bad in here now. I don't think it's written on the box. I think it's on a title card, but I tend to use the title cards for bookmarks. But anyways, all I know is that there's only so many of these made. And when you think about like some of these decks, sometimes there's like less than 1,000 made in the whole freaking world. It's so special. So like if there's ever a fire in this house, this is one of those decks that I would be going for. This one and like my non-copyright Rider-Waite, like that's it. I'd be like, honey, let me get my decks first. Okay, so those are the Baba Studios finds on eBay. And last but not least, because I'm losing my light, last but not least is, so in this cute little deck bag, I have the Wonderland Tarot. So this was back in like 2015, I believe I bought this deck. This one has since been it's raining. This one has since been reprinted, and you can find that like it's in a tin and all that. You could find it brand new on Amazon. But this copy is the one from way back when. I don't know when. I don't know what the date is, but 1989, so the late 80s. And this deck was going for a lot of money on eBay at the time. Now it's not so much, but at the time, and I snagged it. So I think I paid $70 for this one. But you at the time on eBay, they were going for like over $100 because this was, like I said, it was from the late 80s. And it hadn't been reprinted. Now that it's reprinted, it's a little bit different. But anyways, I bought this one on eBay. The person did not tell me that it was missing cards. And I was a little bit pissed off when I got the deck because I realized, holy shit, it's missing two. It was 2 cards. So luckily this deck came with 2 title cards. And I ended up using those title cards and I DIY'd my own deck. So I went through the internet and I was able to find images of the 2 cards that I was missing, and I printed them out. Literally, I just printed them out and I taped them to the 2 title cards. That was my little DIY. So this deck is complete. I could never resell this if I wanted to as like an original because it's DIY'd. But that's what makes this one special, because I had to like, it was meant to be. Like, I have it now, but I had to do my own little trick to it. But I also thought that it was a little bit unfair that the seller didn't disclose that it was missing cards and they still sold it, you know, for money. And so it's just, that's like the risk that you guys take when you do buy used. So I just wanted to share that because I've done a little DIY for this one, and I also had to do it for this one. Now, this is my most recent eBay purchase. This is the Dutch Tarot. It is very, very old. It's from 1971. 1971, like, I'm so excited. And it's rare, and these guys, I haven't seen them for less than $150. Like, there was 2 listings. I don't know if they're still up, but there was 2 listings last I checked. One was for $150, the other one was for like $210. This copy, I bought it, I'm not kidding you, for $45 on eBay. Why? Because the seller told me that it was missing 1 card. It was missing the 3 of Cups, and it was missing the 3 of Cups, and I was totally fine with that. When you figure a deck that was being, this full deck was being sold for $150, and then this one I bought for $45 because of 1 card, was like, that 1 card is $100. That makes a difference. Like, that's crazy. So I bought it. It came with 2 blank cards, right? 2 title cards. I used one of them, so I did another deck mod. I used one of them to create the card that I was missing. So let me find it for you. It's 3 of Cups. So there you go. I'm all about DIYs. Like I said earlier, I buy vintage decks with the intention of using them. I love them. I love reading tarot. I collect the cards, but I also work with them. And so I was like, I didn't have a problem with missing a card in the deck. It wasn't that big a deal to me. But at the same time, I also wanted to replace it with one of the title cards. Like, I have a blank card here, why not? So I was looking online last night and I found images of the 3 of Cups. I had to do a couple trials of printing because I had printed it. One was too big, the other one was too small, you know. So I finally found the right size. I cut her up and I taped her to the card. Perfect. So it's perfect, you guys. Like, I can read with it now. I'm not missing the card anymore. It was just meant to be. So there you go. So I wanted to share that with you guys because I wanted you guys to be aware that you can find really good deals on eBay. Sometimes a card might be missing, but you can totally do your own DIY. Just be crafty, think outside the box. But you could totally do your own DIY and have that deck that you want. So this was the latest find. I'm super excited. It's so old and it's so like precious and it's mine. Anyways, this video was super long. Thank you guys for being through this whole thing with me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you know, go out and find yourselves your own used decks. Give them some love, a second chance, another home. And comment below and tell me, what are your used deck purchases that you have found? Have you had any eBay treasures that you found? Let me know, and I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye, guys.